Welcome back. I'm Miss Cybulski, your host, and you're watching The Campman Show, which is awesome and great and perfect in so many ways. Sorry for that short little hiatus we had. We wanted to make sure that you were prepared for second semester, So please know that during that time, totally praying for you, making sure everything was going well, midterms, crazy stuff. But we're back, and we're in the new semester, and we're flowing, and we're going. So let's see. We got some new news. Okay, so first up, Thursday the 16th, so that's this coming Thursday, we have a Kairos retreat leaving for 4 days. So I am asking you for prayers. Pray for this retreat, pray for the retreatants, pray for everybody involved with the retreat, because the more the prayers, the better, right? Second off, we have a 4th day retreat. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. So this is for seniors only. In past years, it's been seniors who have gone on Kairos before, and this is after they've gone on Kairos and they want another retreat. This year, and this year only, we are making an exception to that rule. Any senior who wants to, whether you've been on Kairos last year, whether you've been on Kairos this year, whether you haven't been on Kairos at all, and you're just looking for a retreat, 4th day is open to you. And what do we talk about on 4th day? We talk about how do we live our life after high school. When we leave Lancaster Catholic, what are some challenges we're gonna face? How do we deal with those challenges? What's gonna happen? Stuff you're like, wait, I didn't know about that. So just to kind of prepare you and get you ready for everything. So if you are interested in the 4th day retreat, it is April 2nd through 4th, so a Sunday through a Tuesday. You missed 2 days of school. Let me know, email me, email Mr. Bammer, stop by, chat with us, because we would love to have you on that retreat with us. Again, any senior, if you're interested, come talk to me or Mr. Bammer. Okay, so now on to today's show. Today we're going to be talking about Lent, because Lent's coming up in about a week, and hey, how do we get ready for it? I know people always say to me like, hey, make it the best Lent ever. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? So in order to kind of talk to us about Lent and what are we going to do during Lent, I might as well bring out my stool, because we got a Father Logue! Come on in, Father Logue.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
So much taller. I love this. Don't worry, it's the baby shark stool. I love the baby shark stool. How's life?
Going well, yeah.
Okay. Nothing too exciting?
Nothing too exciting.
I mean, after that dodgeball, oh my gosh.
My arm's still a little sore, but
I have a huge bruise on my knee. It's yikes. I mean, we lost, but
But we played well.
Well, I'm thinking we just didn't want to make the students all
true.
sad, Like we kind of threw the game.
It's a sacrifice, but
a sacrifice we made for you guys. Anyways, okay, so we're not here to talk about dodgeball.
Right.
We're here to talk about Lent. So you've heard the phrase, make it the best Lent ever.
Just about every year.
Oh. Do you make it better every single year?
Well, some years yes, some years no.
So why do we say make it the best Lent ever? No offense, but I feel like Lent isn't always the best. That's when I don't get to eat ice cream. That's when I am taking away candy. That's not the best. So why are we considering it the best Lent ever?
It's a great question, because it can seem a little like, oh no, Lent's here. Now I have to give something up, or I have to come up with something to give up. And I don't want to give up too much. I don't want to give up too little. And it can seem kind of stressful. But I think a good way to think of it is like getting ready for a sport that you enjoy. Because we want...
dodgeball.
Like dodgeball. Because we should want to have that good time as we have physical exercise, we have spiritual exercise. And when you're involved in a sport that you like, you enjoy the exercise, you feel better, you feel more energetic, you are physically healthier, and it's the same thing with Lent. We want to find practices that help us, practices that are tough and challenge us, but ones that we enjoy, and then ones that help us to feel more wholesome and healthy and spiritually energized.
Yeah, I mean, going off the sport analogy, like, how much time do you sacrifice to, like, go weightlift, you know, or to go to practice?
Absolutely.
Or, like, what are your different eating habits during a sport versus, like, off season, in order to make sure you stay physically healthy?
Right, and you have your time of the season of the sport where you're focused on it and you're exercising a lot and you're doing all of that. And then in the off season, you can relax a little bit and take it a little easier. And that's sort of what we do from Lent into Easter. We have a period of training and then a period of rejoicing.
Yeah.
That's
It's like winning the Super Bowl or something,
That's right.
you know? Whoa. Well, so what are some suggestions on what to give up for Lent? You know, what should I do for Lent?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And we want to find things to give up. So I think look for certainly foods or things like that are classic and almost always a good place to start. Look for maybe activities to give up or to at least reduce. To say, all right, I'm going to use my phone less. I'm going to play less video games. I'm going to give up this video game. I'm going to give up this TV show for Lent. But then also, we're always focused on giving stuff up. We should also focus on replacing it with something. So when I get home, I'm not going to watch half an hour of TV. Instead, I'm going to read scripture or listen to a faith-based podcast or something like that to replace it with something so we're not just sitting there missing what we've given up.
I say, I remember somebody like once saying like, yeah, during Lent, I park like as far as I can in the parking lot, and then I use the time walking in to pray. And I'm like, oh, like it's like a sacrifice because like
Right.
Who wants to park all the way like at the back of the parking lot and like walk all the way in? But like to replace that time with that prayer. But what does like me giving up ice cream have to do with, like, I get how it can make me like physically healthier, which is like, you know, if I was sporting
Right.
and stuff, but I don't sport. So what does like that have to do with Lent and being spiritually fit, if you will?
Another great question. And honestly, we have to go back to the sports and exercise analogy because when we say no to something small but good, like ice cream or cookies or parking close to the store, it takes an act of will. We have to use our will to choose something that we wouldn't have chosen naturally. And that, just like exercising a muscle, makes our will stronger. So when we're faced with actual temptation and we're tempted to do something that we know is bad, not just something neutral or good like ice cream, then we're stronger and better able to say, no, I'm going to resist that. And I'm going to say no to that and say yes to the good.
So yeah, it's like building up the no muscle. I don't like that.
Strength of will, willpower.
Okay, willpower.
Instead of muscle
There.
power,
I
yeah.
don't know if I like that no muscle. But yeah, building up that willpower so that when like the temptation of like, oh, like I didn't really study for this test. Like maybe if I just like look over at a friend's test for one question, like if I was able to say no to ice cream, I can say no to like doing something like that.
Yep. So just like exercise in Lent, we want to not set ourselves up for failure by doing something too much, but we also don't want to shoot too low and too easy. We want to stretch ourselves and push ourselves a little bit, just like we're exercising.
I think we were chatting a little bit, and you almost said that you almost like give yourself a million, like so many things for Lent, and then you're like, nah, not that one, not that. Like,
I do like to start with a couple of different things and then see which one feels right. Because sometimes we don't want to just do the same old thing, maybe try something new. I also like to have one or two things that I can mention to people when they ask, what are you giving up for Lent? But then I also like to have one or two things that are just between me and God, things that I offer him without really talking about or advertising.
so maybe come up with a couple different things. Like Father Logue said, look at what are maybe some foods that you give up, like those simple, smaller no's so you can say no in the future to something else. Where can you add something in? Add in that prayer, add in that scripture, add in that podcast. Maybe it's a spiritual book. Maybe it's taking some time and like having a faith-based conversation with a friend. Like that
Right.
could be like.
And that can be a good practice to do together,
Yeah.
to agree on together.
I think that's another, like now that we mention that, I think that could be another good thing. Like you said, there's some things you keep personal and some things you share with people, but like almost like a Lent group, you know?
Yeah.
Together, we're gonna keep each other accountable. Like we're gonna spend 5 minutes in prayer every day, you know, and like making sure like, yo, Father Logue, did you spend your 5 minutes in prayer? No, I didn't. Make sure you do that. Like you got it. And like, Noel, did you? I'm like, yeah, of course I did. You know.
Or even if you're stretching yourselves as a group, agreeing on something tough together, then when you're struggling with it, call someone else in the group and say, that's really tough for me right now.
I really want
some
ice
help."
cream right now.
Right.
Please, please. You don't need the
Talk
ice
me
cream.
out of
You
it.
Don't need the ice cream. Yeah. But I hope this kind of helps get you guys ready for Lent. You know, hope that it gives you some ideas of what to do. How can you make this the best Lent yet for yourself in order to spiritually prepare yourselves, spiritually get fit in order for the celebration and the beauty of Easter? I hope you stick around for our show during Lent because we're going to be talking more and more about Lent as we go and kind of some more specifics. I'm actually really excited for it because like I do know, you know, like I know a lot about Lent and stuff like that, but I always love getting other people's perspectives, and that's what we're hoping to do the next coming weeks. So make sure you stick around, hearing all about Lent. Good luck coming up with what you're going to give up for Lent. Maybe spend some time in prayer to figure that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I guess we'll just like see you next time, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye, everybody.